Hello, welcome to Algorithms. In this presentation, we will discuss about how to decide first cloud adoption project, and this is part one. Now, motivation is one of the most important aspect even before you jump to the strategy part. Why are we moving to the cloud? And this is a common question for businesses and IT stakeholders. And if your answer is our executive told us to move to the cloud, it is unlikely that the business will achieve the desired outcomes. You may be able to upgrade your infrastructure, but you may not achieve the business outcomes. So the motivation it becomes a very important aspect because business transformations that are supported by cloud adoption can be driven by various motivations, and it's likely that several motivations apply at the same time. uh, Now, once you have the list of motivation, then you classify them. Is it a business critical event or critical business events, migrations, innovations? From the innovation perspective, are we looking at improved customer experiences and engagements? Are we looking at transformation of products or services? Are we looking at market disruption with the new products or services, which is applicable for the startups? Building new technical capabilities. Once you classify your motivation, what happens that you see a trend. So once you have the list of motivations, these trends will emerge, and the motivation tends to be associated with the one classification, then with others, and using the predominant classification to help you guide the development of your cloud adoption strategy. Now, for example, uh, if you have identified that critical business events are the highest priority in your motivation list, now it is important to get started with the migration early, sometimes in parallel with the strategy and planning efforts, because taking this approach requires a different mindset, I would say a growth mindset, and a willingness to iteratively improve process based upon direct lessons learned, because you have uh, I would say lack of strategy, lack of planning, because due to certain events in your business, you want to make this a highest priority. Now, when migration is highest priority in the list of motivation, then strategy and planning will play a central role early in the process. So I recommend that you implement the first workload along with the planning efforts to help the team understand, and that workload has to be very small, and let the team understand and anticipate the learning curves that are associated with the adoption. Now, the third one is the innovation. If that comes out as the highest priority, then there has to be a balance of strategy and planning along with the alignment of investment that you're going to make in the cloud adoption. Because if that does not happen, you may be disappointed with the results, because you may not be able to achieve the business outcomes. You may be able to achieve some of the technological outcomes from the IT perspective, but from the business perspective, there will be some gaps. Now, once you classify these motivation, then those classifications will help you drive the strategy. So for instance, if I talk about just two, for instance, migration or innovation. If it is migration, then cost savings, reduction in technical complexity, and vendor consolidation, optimization of internal operations, increasing business agility. uh, you are preparing for new technical capabilities. You are scaling to meet market demands. For instance, you see that your business is going to grow by 10% or 20%, and you need to add more scale to your IT infrastructure. But you have observed in the past that by adding additional infrastructure may cost you more, plus downtime. So, but in this case, because since with auto scaling options, and there are other things or services that helps you achieve those targets easy from the infrastructure perspective, so that is going to help you in terms of scaling from the consumer perspective. For instance, if you have 1 million customers and you're expecting 1.5 million customers, you can scale the infrastructure easily. Now, scaling to meet the geographic demands, that is also one of the important aspect. Uh, and you have a lot of services available within cloud that helps you achieve these targets. From the innovation perspective, the most important, I would say, is improving customer experience and engagement. When you are launching, transforming products or services, you are building new technical capabilities. Sometimes people ask questions that the new technical capabilities are included in innovation as well as uh, uh, migration. Now, the important difference is you are building on top of maybe legacy, or it may depend upon what type of organization you are in. Are you in higher education, finance, healthcare? It really depends, because preparing for new technical capabilities means different to different organization. But when we talk innovation, what we are talking about, that you are adding new features, and those new features, since you are a startup or maybe you are a disruptor, you are thinking from a disruption perspective, you need to have that ability to scale fast plus add new features very quickly. In order to achieve that, you have to have the technical capabilities. Nowadays, for instance, uh, uh, CM solutions, security, information and event management solutions, because it requires machine learning as well. So now if you have a cloud platform but you don't offer machine learning, then how are you going to provide machine learning capabilities in your native CM solutions, right? So those are the very small examples. So you may not use that technical capability on the forefront, but it may be a key component of the inner engineering of other services that you provide to your customers. So that could be from the innovation perspective. So I explained the two different motivations, which is migration and innovation. Similarly, you can list out the critical business events as well. For instance, end of support for mission critical technologies, response to regulatory compliance changes, data sovereignty requirements. For instance, GDPR is one of the things, and a lot of countries are coming up with their own regulations where a service provider is supposed to have the data center in the country. And that's very complex, because if I am a business and if I want to adopt cloud, and at the same time if I see that the cloud provider does not have my location as a listed region, where they have their own data center, which are governed by the laws of the country plus the security laws as well and compliance, then it becomes very difficult, because some of the services are driven by these compliances, which are coming from different parts of the government agencies. So that becomes very important. So these are some of the examples which I tried to explain. So now I guess it is making sense to you, and you will be able to draft clear motivations, and then move to the strategy part. Next we will discuss about strategy, that how do you craft your strategy once you have the motivations listed, plus business motivations, business justification, how you align your partner strategy. Okay, those are the things which are important when you go for the cloud adoption project. It is not very easy, just like explained by different vendors. I guess this is it from my side. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.